The Cure are back with a brand new single, but not only a brand new single, we've also got a brand new album called Songs of a Lost World. But the single they released today is All I Ever Am, which has got a lyric video, so I thought, why not check that one out first? Because we did a video about a month ago, I think, when Alone came out, which is the first single from this album, I believe. And I really liked it. It was the first time I'd ever made a conscious decision to go out of my way to listen to The Cure. It was one of those bands I'd always been told I'd probably like. You know, everything about them, I love it. Whenever I hear him, Robert Smith, being talked about in the media, I'm always pretty happy to hear what he's doing. He seems to be championing cheaper ticket prices and all of that. So, you know, I'm definitely on side. I've just never really gone out of my way to listen to them. So I did with Alone, and I seem to remember really, really liking it. It had this very, very slow build-up of textures and layers. It took a good couple of minutes for any vocals to come in, I believe. But it's just, bands just hit this stage in their career after being, 20 years in the business, and most of them have managed to finish their addictions and survive, where they just hit this level of veterancy, where they had this borderline intangible sort of just competency about them. Just everything they touch is well thought out and experienced, and I guess by this point they've got good producers, and you know what I mean. There's a lot of bands that just cross that threshold where everything just starts sounding so natural but so well conceived, and it feels like The Cure are definitely part of that. I mean, I now can't remember the specific number, but I seem to remember them not having released any music for quite a long time in the run-up to this album release, and I'm sure fans are quite excited. To be fair, my video on Alone did quite well, so yeah. Here we are again, listening to All I Ever Am. Who knows, maybe if this video goes well and people like it, let me know in the comments. Maybe we'll do a review of the entire album, which I have just noticed, while still being 49 minutes long, it's only 8 tracks. That's quite rare nowadays. Bloody 10-minute song at the end. We'll see how long we can survive through that. But anyway, that's enough of me wittering. Let's listen to All I Ever Am. Quite a bizarre drum tone. I don't know what's making that sound strange to me. I know he's probably just playing toms at this point, right? But it's got a sort of I don't know, an acoustic hollowness to it. I don't know whether that's the tone of the drum or how it was recorded or what it was. I really like it. Maybe it's just how it's being played, for all I know. I'm not a drummer. But the way that bounces off with the sort of the high synthy bit there really gives it this kind of introduction. It's waiting for an explosion of sound that I'm really hoping is going to come. Curious what the visuals for the lyric video are going to be as well. There it is. It's a nice guitar tone. I do have to point out the snow butthole that's currently in the middle of the screen, but apart from that, I'm sorry for being a baby. But yeah, the tone on that guitar was lovely. It's got that really, I know, almost Dire Straits-y kind of muted distortion to it. Love that. Slight variations in the drum pattern are really nice as well. They're taking this and making it more interesting. Okay. Ooh. Oh, it's that head again that was in the last one. God, the little dribs and drabs of more trebly instruments going out in the pans there was so nice. It really does build this soundscapey feeling to it. Just a little tinkle in one ear, then a little synth in the other. Oh. The way they play off each other, man. Building up, come on. I didn't expect the bass to come in at the same time as the vocals did. That was really nice. It completed the sound. You got the little twinky on either side just to sort of set you up. Robert starts singing, and then we get that nice, yeah, I don't know. It's like I said before, it's just got this crazy, beautiful soundscape to it. I hope Cure fans won't be annoyed at me if I say that his vocal delivery kind of makes me think of him being like like Morrissey's emo brother almost. I hope that's not a controversial take. Ooh. Whatever they did there's something that, I don't know whether it was an overdub vocal or whether one of the guitars or one of the synths matched up with him for that first line, the na 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 bit, but that was so excellent and like managed very, very subtly add new, what am I looking for, what's the word, looking for more emphasis on that first line again to re-establish that you're getting back into the next cycle of the verses, if that makes sense. Like this, having that first line like highlighted by the other instruments, really, really nice. I did a lot of very Italian hand signals there. That verse really had this like momentum building, chunk, 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 and then very clever, subtle uses of effects on his voice as well. There's like the little bit where you got some delay on one of those things, but only for one line. But you know, sometimes less is more. I think there's a very good example of that because it just gives it this like really eclectic set of like somewhat ethereal sounds. And I know we're now probably going to get into a B section or a verse or chorus. It's that drum variation as well, it's nice. I think it's just the way that the chords are structured, but there's a lot of like rising up in this song. It's got a very elating feeling, despite the fact that the vocals feel quite emotionally sad. These visuals are extremely trippy for the record. I don't quite know what it is I'm meant to be looking at, but it's absolutely confusing my brain. There's that blink in that ear again. Oh, they're using very clever use of the panning there. That guitar solo, A, sits really nicely in the mix. It's like still very clearly the focal point of the section that we're currently listening to, but it doesn't sort of like sing out over it like some of the other guitar lines in the song or his vocals even. But I've noticed he's been slowly changing which side, which ear that guitar thing is. It's waving around your peripherals. Very nice. And again, when the vocals come in, that bass starts hitting that bottom. It's pretty much just following root notes, but it's absolutely emphasizing the verses and their importance. Those backing vocals were clever. Just subtlety. Just everything in this song is subtlety incarnate. It's really, really impressive to see. Man, these lyrics are dark. there's a much more like noticeable backing vocal on this too. I think it's probably just him overdubbing himself, but those like almost more shouted ones in the pan are really helping to again build up urgency, and his vocal delivery is getting more I don't know, emotional over time. I was like trying to my best to like really pay attention to the lyrics then. It's really quite, I don't know, it feels like somebody's singing about the sort of end of their career almost. I'm not sure. Back to the home territory of that synth line. Oh, god damn, those lyrics are pretty intense. I can sort of see where he's coming from, this idea that, like, he's managing to convince his mind to, you know, sort of focus entirely on the music and the creation and being on the stage, and he's been doing that for such a long time now that he's terrified what will happen to him and his brain and what thoughts he'll be left with once he stops doing that. Those are very effective and deep lyrics, and I know the emotion of that it really was conveyed throughout the entire song. It sort of came in these waves, and it kind of, I don't know, it really did feel like you're sort of going through a journey through someone's mind, almost with like ethereal, like there's lots of very, very subtle little synth lines in there that are only played like once every 6 bars, maybe even less than that, but they just add this like soundscape, which is a word I've said a lot describing it, but I don't know, I mean, just for some reason this entire song has made me do Italian hands the entire time, so I don't know what it is about it, but it's really, really good at conveying that emotion. Again, the subtlety, the production on it is fantastic. It's also one of those things where you can tell that no one who's performing this song has an ego, you know? It doesn't feel like any of the individual band members feel the need to really push out and, like, you know, flex their muscles. Everyone knows they're some of the best musicians on the planet. Right for the song, which is a skill that I think young up-and-comers sometimes forget. So it's nice to see, again, these veterans really reinforcing and hitting that one home. I think, I'm hoping if I was to go through and listen to the rest of the album, that some of them were maybe a little bit less wondery. I just don't know how much more of this style I would find compelling. Like, I like it in a vacuum. I will, again, probably be listening to that song outside of the realms of making YouTube videos, but if that's an entire album of that, which I think it might be, I don't know. That's a completely unbased opinion, so maybe not. I'm not sure if I would maintain my attention span. That's probably more of a me problem. But as I said, the subtlety, the way everything's been handled is absolutely phenomenal. I really, really like it. I'm going to have to go through and listen to some other older Cure, because again, I know like a couple of the big hits, but nothing crazy. But yeah, maybe, and let me know in the comments if you guys want me to. I will go through the rest of the tracks on this album. We'll do a bit of an album review. Let me know in the comments. Other than that, what is your favourite of these new singles? Does this most recent era of The Cure live up? Like, is it a good representation of old Cure? If I listen to this now, does it make it sense? So do I have a good opinion of what The Cure sound like? Let me know in the comments. Other than that, thank you very much for watching. Like, share, subscribe, all that crazy stuff. And I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.